Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to the East West Show. My name is Jack Chow, and with lots of pride, I'm hosting the show, which is my opportunity to meet all kinds of important people. Call them VIPs or VVIPs. Sometimes I come across a VVVIP. All right, so on and so forth. This world is full of problem, call it a problematic, you're not exaggerating. Yet, sometimes we are mystified only by so many instances around us. As a matter of fact, till the end of the day, you will just separate them by two groups. One group, positivity, the other group, negativity. So that's it. So today we're talking about positivity, not negativity. We are so fond of a term called being politically right. I strongly against it. I don't like it. Simply, I hate it. In my mind, I would rather do things that I may call humanly right. How about that? So, in talking about humanly right, I have my big friend, good friend of course, and the trustworthy friend, Mr. Drexel Smith, visiting me. So Drexel, welcome to the show, seriously.
Thank you.
Mr. Drexel Smith is a Rotarian, glory Rotarian, and he is the past governor of 5300 district of Rotary International. A guy full of credit, a guy full of great, grand activities to humanity, I call it, right? So I understand you just finished a trip to India. When was the trip? How about the trip? What did you do? How you feel back home, please?
Oh my gosh.
Lots of questions.
And
right?
I say that and answer your question in 10 words or less.
Oh, yeah, all right. And I introduce you with 100.
Yeah, there you go.
See, not fair.
Yeah.
Not fair. You got to give me 1,000.
Jack, let me begin for a moment.
Please.
For your listeners, with just a little bit about Rotary. Rotary began almost 100 years ago, at the turn of the last century, by a businessman in Chicago who wanted to get together with his friends to meet and talk about what they could do to improve the life of others. And Rotary began as a business luncheon where business people could network and connect and help each other. And then it began to grow about doing projects for the community. And then Rotary grew bigger. And then it began to do projects around the world.
International projects.
Absolutely. So today, Rotary is the oldest of the what we call service clubs. So you have Rotary, the Lions Club, the Kiwanis, the Seroptimists. There are a number of other groups. Rotary is distinctive because it's the oldest. Rotary, for much of his life, was men only. Only a man's club. In the 1980s, about 30 some years ago, it changed to include women. And now women make up a big part of the Rotary family. Around the world, Rotary is in over 120 countries, about 1,200,000, 1.2 million members of Rotary. And I am honored to be the past president of the club here in West Covina,
Mm.
the past assistant governor for our district, and I currently serve as the chairperson for international projects for the District 5300. Our district starts in Pasadena and follows the foothills going east and gets to about San Bernardino
Uh-huh.
and turns north like a hockey stick to Las Vegas.
Oh, to Las Vegas.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
We have 60 plus clubs that make up our district and about 2,500 members that make up our
That's
district.
a lot.
Yeah, so another exciting point about Rotary is the dues that we pay to be a member go toward doing things that are helpful. Many organizations take in the money, and a big part of the money goes to feed the organization.
There
Big
are salaries.
staff,
There are salaries.
Big salaries,
There are functions.
fancy lunches, not with Rotary.
All right.
Rotary is mostly volunteer. Less than 2% of the money goes to Rotary, goes to pay Rotary. And as a matter of fact, 100% of the dues that I pay and the donations made all go to projects, because what the Rotary staff lives on is interest earned on those donations.
I see.
So it's a very lean organization from a structure standpoint that appeals to me. I don't like the idea of feeling like I donated something and a bunch of money goes to feed the fat cats. Rotary's not like that. So
All right.
a big project that Rotary undertook almost 45 years ago was to eliminate polio around the world.
Polio, yes.
As you know, polio is a horrible disease. It typically affects children.
Yes.
It cripples them. And for much of their life, their muscles in their chest don't work, so they can't breathe. So many spend their early lives in an iron lung to allow them to breathe. It's just a horrible disease.
Okay.
Rotary has been at it a long time. And recently, I'm not sure, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, the Bill Gates Foundation gave Rotary $200 million to finish and eradicate polio from the face of the earth. And today, there's only 3 countries left that have measurable polio remaining. Afghanistan, some Pakistan, and Nigeria in Africa. But we need to keep at it. And countries that are very sensitive to reassurance of polio, we're trying to minimize. So as my introduction to you, I spent 2 weeks and 3 days in India with our #1 primary mission to support the National Immunization Day, called NID, National Immunization Day, that on January 28th, we immunized across India almost 2 million children. Big deal.
I see.
Big deal.
Big deal. Thank you very much for the lovely introduction. I really have to say this, I'm convinced. I'm totally convinced. I believe so do my audiences, and so are my audiences. Well, of course, organizations, non-profit, you have all kinds. And well, instead of feeding themselves, the percentage of their own expenses only within 2%, and rest of which 98% goes to international programs that I give 2 hands. If I have 3, I will do 3, right, to the great Rotary. Rotary International is a big name. I believe on the surface of global Earth, that's the biggest nonprofit organization with the biggest members, with the largest members.
I don't know
Last
that
time
today.
I heard it was 1.5, not 1.25 members.
Yeah, I think today I don't know that we can make claim to be the biggest. We're the oldest, and we have the smallest
At least
overhead.
one of the biggest.
Yeah.
At least one of the biggest.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And a friend of mine, Luann Arredondo,
Yes.
is the president of the 5300 district now, right?
She she's in line to become the
I see.
district governor.
Next year, what?
One more year.
One more year, huh?
Yeah. Rotary is really big on training and preparing people to take over.
I see.
So we choose the person 3 years out,
I see.
and they go through 2 years of training before. So
The governor pro tem.
she is the governor designee.
Incoming.
Yeah. So
Incoming.
in 2 years
Very
she'll
good.
be the governor.
I'm so glad that so proud of myself that I have friends like themselves. This is my assets. I love them so much. With that, we want to take a little break. When we come back, we'll find out exactly from Mr. Drexel Smith about his Indian trip and what exactly their stories and details. Stay with us, please. Hello, my dear folks. Welcome back to the East-West Show. Jack Chow hosting. And today I have the pleasure of my good friend, Drexel Smith, who visited me. He's the past president of the 5300 district of Rotary International, a long district starting from, a big one, starting from foothills all the way stretches up by I-15 all the way to Las Vegas. Right. So that's a huge area you're talking about. Yes, about his recent trip to India, he started on the 28th. That's exactly the first New Year day of Chinese Lunar New Year.
Very true.
Very true, right? So, and how many of you went?
Total of 25 Rotarians that included people from Canada, the east coast of Maine, and Australia. From our district 5300, there were 10. And of the 10, 2 of them were younger people. They were college students that went as a sponsored scholarship to experience going on a 2-week mission with Rotary. And they competed for the opportunity to be part of this team. So again, 25 total, 10 from our district.
Your district?
2 of which were sponsored students under a scholarship.
And 8 of you.
So 8 Rotarians from different clubs. The person responsible is a lady who's done this about 12 years, Linda Bruzzini from Las Vegas, an exciting young lady that's very dedicated to this particular project. So we flew. It's a long way to India. It's the other side of the world.
So from Los Angeles?
We actually flew a direct flight from LA to Dubai.
To Dubai.
16 hours.
16 hours. That's a long flight.
Yes, and then another wait in Dubai to catch a plane, 4 more hours over to India. So the total travel time by the clock was almost 24 hours, with about 19 hours in the air.
Yeah, first class?
Well, some of us got better seats than others.
Okay, all right, good, very good.
But
But anyway, what kind of seat
Each of
did
us,
you get?
each of us paid our own way. Paid our own way.
You're surprising me.
No, we pay our own way,
You pay your own way.
except for the two that were on a scholarship.
Oh yeah, they
So
are,
I
okay.
wrote a check
Mm-hmm.
for my airfare, for my rooms. I wrote an extra check so I had a little better seat in the airplane.
I see.
I wrote an extra check so I could have a private room during our stay as opposed to sharing a room
I see.
with someone else, my choice. So,
And everybody did the same thing?
no, most people shared.
No. I'm talking about everybody did the same thing by taking their own money out of their own
Oh,
pocket.
absolutely. Except for the two that went on a
Yeah, I know
scholarship.
that. They are on the program, scholar program.
yeah.
That's a scholar money.
Everybody
scholarship
wrote
money.
their own.
That's a different story. But for you guys, all the other 23,
100% of the expenses we paid.
100%, you
Plus-
paid your own expenses,
Yes,
airfare, hotel rooms, accommodation stuff.
food, everything. And part of our check that we wrote was a donation for the projects in India that I'll talk about.
Next question is that you must be very rich.
It's a matter of your priorities. What do you do with your money? Do I buy a fancy dinner, or do I choose to give some to this kind of a program?
Admiration is the word I can say.
Well,
I really admire that, and I salute to people with that kind of mind. Nowadays, my dear audience, you're talking about you may rob a bank and put up 10 years in jail, and due to the crowd situation in jail, you do 10%. That's 1 year, and then that's it. That's the one way to do. And the second way is that you may go to Wall Street. You may play the money games with somebody else's money, and you get rich or jump over the window. Okay, and then the third option is that you might choose not to care about anything or anybody, just yourself. You live on your beautiful life. Personally, nobody gets argued with you. So this is the third way, and there is a fourth way, who takes money out of their own pocket to pay for their own airfare, their hotel room, their food, their all other expenses, only to do business, quote unquote business, in some other countries who need help.
very true.
That's really something.
Very true.
So can we give a definition to that activity, those activities, call them humanly right? So
I'll
I'm so
accept your
glad.
term.
I'm so glad this morning when I was brushing my teeth, I thought, what kind of title should I give to this show? Oh, all of a sudden I thought about a politically right. So now, how about humanly right? So we do things humanly right. So Drexel Smith is a big friend for me, and I believe he's a big friend for the community, and also for the 5300 district, and where he was once a past
Club president
president,
and former assistant governor.
a former assistant governor, and he lives a very humble life. And he, by profession, he is a energy specialist, and he was once involved in a huge project of U.S.-China on nuclear safety
Yes.
issues, right? Okay, a man with glory, a man has done his part to the society, who never takes a respite, went on to serving the public, serving the world, serving the poor people, the less fortunate people who needs help, such as those in India, bothered by polio and drinking water. Right. So let's take a very short moment. I'm touched. I'm so touched. I'm so convinced. Let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we'll talk about Indian people, how badly they need help. Right? So stay with us, please. Hello, my dear folks. Welcome back to the East West Show. Jack Chow is hosting. Today, our subject is the Rotary International programs. One of the program, region program, of course, is going on ongoing program. Only my friend Drexel Smith went to one of the trips to India, talking about aiding the needy people. That's why the title of the show today, I name it To Be Humanly Right. Okay, it's a easy thing to say than done, to be humanly right. So how? Let me ask my friend Drexel Smith, past president for 5300 District of Rotary, to give us the details or even stories necessarily about your trip, recent trip, set foot on 28th of January to India via Dubai, a long flight of 20-something hours, paid by themselves out of the pocket with their own money, including their hotel rooms, all accommodation. Okay, so, and we back, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. Go
so
ahead,
Jack, we actually I left on Thursday the 26th, but by the clock, I arrived Saturday.
The 28th.
Early Sunday morning, before the sun, we got in a bus and drove south about 120 kilometers to a little village.
That's about 2 or 3 hours drive.
Of course, the traffic in India is very slow. Okay? And to a very small village where we met with other Rotarians from India, and we were met with a drum band and the school children from the school.
Like that, right?
And the drums were to alert the villagers. Something exciting was going on, and we began a parade through the city.
All right.
And the women brought their children, and we set up 6 stations. So as we passed a station, we would assign members of the Rotary to work with nurses, Indian nurses.
Actually, you started right away.
Oh, boom.
Oh.
And we set up 6 different stations there in this city as our part of this overall polio day. So in the station I was at, with 2 other big burly men here from California, we immunized about 140.
The NID.
National Immunization Day.
National Immunization
And the process
Day.
is to put 2 drops on the tongue of the child. So the women would bring their child. We helped put the drops on the tongue. And then they took a marker to permanently mark, at least for a few days, the finger of their child. And then we gave them a little sticker that was a treat. We marked their finger.
What the marker for?
So they didn't come back in line.
Oh, I see, okay.
Because some wanted more than one treat.
I see. I see.
You
don't want
see?
to overdose them.
Don't want to overdose. And that was the process that we did across that particular city that was part of the day that was being immunized across all of India.
I see.
So
how many days of the immunization?
We did it all in one day.
One day.
Yeah.
How many were immunized?
Almost 2 million. across the country.
Almost 2 million across the country.
Yep.
Simultaneous,
Yeah, all one day.
all one day.
But then we went back to New Delhi.
Mm-hmm.
We spent the night and met with other Rotary members that are Indian Rotary members.
Mm-hmm.
They're in Delhi. And then the next morning again, we got up as the sun came up
Mm-hmm.
and we drove, oh my God, 10 hours
10 hours from that
300
village. Mhm.
north from New Delhi
From New Delhi, yeah.
to another village
Ah.
for the purpose of constructing 2 water dams.
Oh,
So the
okay.
first day was the
was
polio,
polio, and then the second day was water.
and then we spent an entire day driving
Mhm.
to a village north of New Delhi, and then we spent 3 days by hand moving rocks and mortar mix all by hand.
Mhm.
There was no mechanical equipment involved.
Uh-huh.
We lifted pans
Mhm.
of rock. These are the pans.
Uh-huh.
And then we formed a human chain passing
Like a
these
con- like a-
pans
like a
this
con-
big
Like a convey.
like a human conveyor
Yeah, human convey.
of rock and mortar
Mm-hmm.
to build these 2 check dams
Mm-hmm.
along this large creek or small river. And
What
we
is
built
a check dam?
a check dam is when you have a heavy water flow
Mm-hmm.
to interrupt the flow to allow it to pool,
Mm-hmm.
but it can overflow to keep
I see,
flowing.
I see, yeah.
So it's just a check to make a
You
pool,
make a puddle, something like that. Mhm.
a big puddle,
Mhm.
and we built 2 of them. Well, we started 2 of them, about 500 meters apart.
Uh-huh.
One was a single wall, about 20 feet deep.
Mhm.
It will eventually be 12 feet high,
Uh-huh.
okay?
Okay.
And it will have a pool with a pipe where people can draw water,
Mhm.
and from the pool they can irrigate their crops. The second dam further down was a single wall, a double wall that will have 2 pools. These are about 20 meters across.
Mhm.
In 3 days, with 25 Rotarians and the town people, we built up almost 30%, about 4.5 feet high,
That's
moving everything by
Yeah,
hand.
compare with the drops of the immunization or the virus. I mean the polio vaccine,
Yes.
which is high tech.
Yep.
And this tends to be labor intensive.
This was
isn't it?
only labor.
Only labor. So does that mean a token or a symbol that you want to deliver the message out, or was that the need of 25 men?
We were
For us
there.
laborers, yeah.
We were there as a symbol
Mm-hmm.
of what can be done when you work together.
Mm-hmm.
Rotary paid for the materials. So
Once again,
all
once
the,
again.
all the rock and mortar
Mhm.
was paid by Rotary.
I see.
In that area, the government had to approve the design, but no money did the government charge.
Mm.
And the rest of the labor will be done by the local people now that it's started. They will finish by the end of April, all 12 feet. We built the first 4.5 feet.
Uh-huh.
They will go to 12 feet on each dam and be paid. We were paid by law, Indian wages.
I see. I see. I
But
see.
we signed the book that instead of getting the money, it went back to the village.
All right.
So I worked for
even
3
more
days
convincing.
carrying rock
Yeah.
in a pan.
You guys flown 20 hours and driving additionally 10 hours
Yes,
to a village
yes,
to actually work,
to work.
to set an example say things can be done when people work together. And for the part of villagers, how many villagers joined you?
This is one village that we built.
Villagers. How many villagers joined you?
Oh, I don't know.
By
I don't know
by
that answer.
Hundreds, thousands, whatever.
Oh, I don't know that answer. There was probably between the two dams 25 villagers working with us, so maybe 50 total.
And for them, you
Yeah.
have to pay.
And
Pay
we,
them
Rotary,
by Indian laws, their minimum wage.
exactly. Rotary paid $38,000 for all the materials and the labor cost to build two dams. That's all. In the U.S., it would have been hundreds of thousands.
To lots of people, it may sound like a no-brainer because the math is just the contrary. It doesn't work anyway, right? So all the way to go there out of own pocket, and you have to pay them, who you're helping, help
but-
themselves.
But Jack, the pay is so small.
I know, but I mean,
Pennies a day.
I'm talking about the logic.
Yeah.
Okay, by logic, this is a no-brainer almost to lots of people, lots of folks. But to me, I believe that I'm touched. I'm convinced. I'm
But
totally
Jack,
convinced. Yes.
this connects back to the polio, because
Yeah.
a big part.
You don't have good water. You have polio.
Exactly, as well as many other diseases. So this
Okay.
allows an entire village to irrigate more crops and to have clean water for use for their.
And to
their
get
land.
to the root to the cure.
Absolutely, it's all
Very
tied
good.
together.
Very good. Very good.
Now you know me.
Mhm.
I am an older businessman.
Businessman.
I normally don't do manual labor.
To
spend 3 days
Yeah, I know that.
Lugging
That is
rocks
why
and
I'm asking
concrete.
the whole group of questions that is a labor intensive. You can stand that?
Jack, I would be smarter to write a bigger check and have them bring in
Have somebody-
machinery.
Yeah. Or have you can pay me, I can do the job.
There was no machine
At all.
on this project. Every rock, every bowl of mortar mix,
I see.
concrete mix was carried by hand.
Hand carried,
100%
and humanly conveyed, hand by hand,
to build up this
from
dam.
hand to hand,
Yeah,
to build up this much.
and as you can see,
That's very, very confusing.
and if you can, as you can see, we made major progress in building up this dam. And at the end of the project, the mayor of the city, we did have some women working on this, and by the way, worked very hard. They were given a ceremonial scarf for their head. This is a Muslim village. The men, like me, I was given a turban
Okay,
to
you're
wear.
wearing turban. Oh, this one is you.
Yeah,
Oh my God, you look like a monk.
yeah. So 3 days, 3 days only, 25% of the dam was built, of the two dams. Very impressive, very impressive.
Okay,
Very hard
good.
work.
Okay, very good. I'm convinced. I'm very convinced. Well, my dear audience, today with my good friend Drexel Smith, we're talking about his recent trip in name of a Rotary International for the Indian polio prevention or elimination programs. He came back. He is doing his report to my audience about what they have done and what they did in India. So let's take a very short moment out. When we come back, we'll probably find some statistics of polio and also the Rotary-sponsored schools in New Delhi. So stay with us, please. Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to the East West Show. Jack Chow is my name. East West is the name of the show. And today, the title of the show is To Be Humanly Right. And I promise you, I did spend some good time in the creation of this title. And it is all kind of hinted by the thought that I realized that we've been always talking about the politically right. How about being humanly right? So being humanly right to road race are interpreted to be a way, actual action, to care about people, to care about other people. So, and not only to care about other people, but to be more perfect, more precise, to care about other people with your money, with your time, with your effort. We're talking about his trip, about the vaccine, the NID, National Immunization Day, in one of village in southern part of New Delhi. And the next 3 days up north from New Delhi, of another village for a dam that will prevent water from losing by building the dam by hand. Okay, it shows a good example to them, to the villagers, that things could be done if you put efforts together. So I understand these are only the parts of the program, and also you have schools to talk about.
Yes.
Please.
After the dam work, we got the opportunity to do some touring in India for a few days, and that was nice. Got to see the sights, got to see the Taj Mahal, and went to the tiger preserve. They have a very large land area that protects the tiger. And I actually got to see a tiger in the wild from only about 6 meters away. Almost reach out and touch him. Huh?
Were you in a car?
In a Jeep.
In a Jeep.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So we came back to New Delhi after a little touring, met with the Delhi Rotary Club, where they have put together, Jack, an unbelievably exciting program. Just a moment about India. You know, India, much like China, is a fascinating 5,000-year-old culture. They're the father of 4 major religions. They have, similar to China, about 1.2 billion people. They're the 7th largest economy in the world. But Jack, the amount of poverty in India still takes your breath away. It just takes your breath away. And even in the major city like New Delhi, there is a large percentage of people that just live in lean-to shacks, on the streets, in the waste areas, with no hope. Just pure poverty.
No hope and no home, no nothing.
So what the Rotary Club of Delhi did, with a little bit of help from our donations, is they put together 5 schools that are in the ghetto. The first school we went and visited is a concrete room about 4 meters square, tiny, that accommodates about 20 preschool children.
4 square meters? 2
about
by
16,
2?
About 16 feet square.
About 16 feet, yes, yes.
That's it. And they are accommodating about 20 children between 2 and 5
In
years
small
old.
areas like that, in a small space like that?
In a small space.
Oh.
They give those children,
There must be bottle in the
Oh,
basket next to
tiny.
each other.
they give those children a uniform to wear. They get 1 meal every day. They're in the room 6 days a week. They give them discipline. They give them exposure to learning their letters and numbers and how to be in school. Remember, these are children that would be running loose on the streets. So they're giving them an opportunity to learn about being in a classroom. But Jack, the biggest thing they're giving them is a legal address.
Legal address. Okay, what do you
Because
mean by
living on the street, they have no address.
that? I see.
The school gives them a legal address, so when they get age 5, they can register for public school.
I see.
They can't register for public school without a legal address. And living homeless,
I see.
they don't have one.
I see. That's why they pack that many in space as little as 4 square meters.
Exactly. So across the 5 schools, some rooms are bigger, some are small. They're handling 300 children. $50 per year per child.
$50 per year per child.
$50 per year per child. It gets them a uniform that's been donated, gets them a meal that they would otherwise not have. The teachers are volunteers.
That's the local government program?
This is all run by Rotary.
Oh, Rotary.
100% Rotary.
Oh, the government didn't do this.
Rotary did this.
Rotary did it.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about their government doing it.
No, this is a
No.
Rotary program.
Oh my God. You saved them from out of the street.
So
Right?
300 children have a chance to get out of the cycle of poverty.
Get out of the ghetto and to get a chance to be registered for public school
Yes.
later.
Yes. Yes.
And you feed them,
Yes.
right? A meal a day. Okay. That's a lot of money altogether. That is
But
a lot of money altogether.
It's based on donated space. The space is donated. The uniforms are donated.
Yeah, uniforms, yes, yes.
We brought and gave away to 300 children backpacks for them.
Backpacks, yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
And personal hygiene?
Personal hygiene. Oh, we visited 3 of the 5 schools. Water pumped by hand to an outdoor pump in a concrete basin. No toilet.
No toilet at all.
Down the street.
Down the street, yeah, you go anywhere.
It breaks your heart.
And how about you yourself? You brought your toilet with you?
Jack,
Come on, I'm serious.
Jack, in the 3 programs that we did, the polio,
The water, the dam,
the dam,
the dam work, yes.
and the school.
The school, yes.
This school probably was the most valuable because you could instantly see in these children an impact and how so little can go so far. And it was the Delhi Rotary Club
But could it
creating
sustain
a
them?
program
Uh-huh.
of helping their own with very limited help.
Yeah. Could it sustain? I worry kind of like, well, once you're gone, they go back again.
It only works because the local Rotary Club is making it
Oh,
work.
they have the
It's their
local
program.
Rotary Club
Yes.
to actually do it,
Yes.
supervise it.
Yes.
I see.
And they're bringing in the volunteer
I thought
teachers.
it's a guesswork. Once you're gone, you're gone.
No. This is a Delhi Rotary Club
Okay.
program
It will sustain.
that we were there to help.
I see.
You with me?
All right. That's excellent. That's wonderful.
So that's 300 kids
Uh-huh.
that have a shot at life.
Yeah, you're right. And then 300. So Of course, they have zillions of kids back in India, but doing 300, you did your part, and that could be a seed that you planted there
Exactly.
for them to see, and the seed can grow. All right.
So, Jack, my message to you is it is, as you know, I have traveled the world.
Yes, you did.
As you know, I've done a lot of things. This was an amazing 2+ week experience. I offer my guidance to other Rotarians and other people. Take a little bit of time and give something back. Leave behind when you go your expectations, your negative attitude, your judgment about why can't they fix their own problems. Leave behind your personal demands for convenience and nice food. Leave all that home. Because what you'll experience is a history, another culture, wonderful people, different food,
Exactly.
different music
Uh-huh.
and drink,
Different culture. Totally.
different culture, a chance to do something for somebody else. And you know, if you do that, what you're going to bring home is a lifetime of memory.
I believe you come home a different man.
You come home a feeling that you've done something of value for somebody else.
Correct. So correct. So correct.
So that's my trip.
Oh my God. Thank you very much for doing that. Thank you very much for sharing that. My dear audiences, today I'm once again entering into a class, learning from people, and I'm convinced, I'm more than convinced, I'm touched about the fact that there are people, Rotarians, who care about others by taking money out of their own pocket, by putting up their own time and efforts to help people, well, the needy people. Right? Look at ourselves. We have our own problem. We have problem here. Okay, we have street dogs, we have street cats, and we have street human, quote unquote illegal immigrants. Right? When people can do like Rotary did, to help, to extend a helping hand to them, why can't we do something to our folks back home, right? So together, let's be motivated, right? Thank you for the motivation. So my dear audience, thank you for watching. I'm glad that I chose the title of the show today to be Humanly Right. I call upon you to do things humanly right, and I thank you, my good friend, Dr. Jackson. Thank you for what you have done, and also thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me on the program.
All right, thank you.